Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear students and viewers, Assalamu alaikum. In today's video lecture, we will be discussing the different types of the bladder and urethral calculi, the mechanism, how they develop in the body, and how they can be diagnosed, and similarly how they can be managed medically and surgically. So in dogs, this disease, the calculi, the bladder and the urethral calculi, this is a very common problem, and sometimes this problem is very much life-threatening when it is causing the obstruction to the normal flow of the urine. So these calculi, they can be produced by the different salts, and when these salts they get aggregated and they become very much saturated in the urea, and they can develop into crystals, and these crystals in the urine, this term crystal urea is used when the concentration of the crystal urea, when it increased, so these crystals they get deposits in the different part of the urinary system, and ultimately they can develop into calculi. So depending upon the size of the calculi, if the size is very much bigger, so definitely they will get lodged in the different parts of the urinary system, and they can cause a blockage to the normal flow of the urine, and ultimately they can damage to the process of the function of the urinary system. So in dogs, different types of the urethral as well as the bladder calculi, they are present, and they have been typed according to the salts or ions concentrations. So they may be the strovoid calculi, they may be calcium oxalate calculi, and they may be the urates calculi, and they may be cysteine calculi. So depending upon the ions which are participating in making the calculi. So this slide shows the different types of the terminologies, like crystal urea, when there is a huge concentration of the crystals which are present in the urine, and this term crystal urea that is used. And in fact, this is the basic start of the calculi. So this crystal urea, this is the in fact, this provides the basis for the development of the calculi in the urinary system. Similarly, urolithiasis, this is another terminology which means the uh, production of the urinary calculi or uroliths, either in the kidneys, in the ureter, or in the bladder, or in the urethra. So this term cystolithiasis, or this is more specifically used when the calculi or uroliths they are being produced in the bladder. And cystolithectomy refers to the this surgical removal or removal of the uh, calculi from the bladder. And the cystotomy is the surgical technique which is most commonly used as an invasive surgical technique when the bladder that is containing bigger calculi, and these calculi they are removed by using the surgical intervention. And similarly, urethrotomy is the surgical terminologies or surgical technique that is used most commonly when the calculi which are present in the urethra, and they can only be possibly removed by using the surgical interventions. So in dogs, the different types of the calculi which are present, and the most common calculi, they are strovoid calculi and calcium oxalate, and these calculi were further followed by the other uroliths like urates, silicates, cystine, and other mixed type of the calculi. So urinary tract infection, that is the most possible cause, and particularly the urinary tract infection with the urease produce bacteria, that is the most possible cause for the development of the strovoid calculi in. So these strovoid calculi, they are most common in female dogs because of their association with urinary tract infection. So urinary tract infection with urease producing bacteria. So this bacteria, this urease enzyme that can convert the urea into ammonia and carbon dioxide, and the hydroxylation hydrolysis of the ammonia, it can further develop into ammonium ions and hydroxyl ions. So this ammonium ion can turn the urine into alkaline, and ultimately this alkaline urine will increase the reduction of solubility of the steroids, so ultimately causing the uh, crystal urea with steroid ions and resulting into production of the steroid calculi. So bacterial cystitis, that is also a very contributing factor for the development of the uroliths, because it provides the organic debris, and that also helps for the development of the nidus formation or crystallization. So steroid calculi, they are most commonly been reported in female dogs because of the high association of the urinary tract infection in female dogs as compared to male dogs. Similarly, the second type of the calculi which has been reported in dogs, that is the calcium oxalate calculi, and the most contributing factor for the development of calcium oxalate calculi is the transient postprandial hypercalcemia, when there is an increased level of the calcium after eating food, and particularly those dogs which are restricted for to eat the canned diets, and particularly those diets which contain high level of the carbohydrates, it can turn the urine acidic, and ultimately that acidic urine can favor the uh, formation of the calcium oxalate crystals. So these calcium oxalate crystals and ultimately can turn into calcium oxalate calculi. Another type of the calculi, which is the urate calculi, or this is also called ammonium acid urate calculi. So these types of the calculi usually develops in those cases, in those animals, in those dogs which are suffering from hepatic diseases. Uh, so this type of calculi is more specifically present in Dalmatian breeds of the dogs, because they have a defective hepatic transport of the uric acid. So the uric acid in the liver, it is further metabolized to form the allantoins, and because of the hepatic transport defect, so this uric acid is not able to be converted and degraded into further allantoin, which is ultimately excreted out. So there is a high level of the uric acid in the body, and this high level of the ammonium acid urates can result into formation of the urate. So this condition is very much common in Dalmatian breeds because of their natural defect in the hepatic system, and similarly this problem is very much common in those animals which are suffering from hepatic insufficiencies like congenital portosystemic shunts. Among the different types of the calculi, the silicate uroliths, these are having their peculiar nature and asymmetrical appearance, and their body surfaces mostly in all types of the urinary calculi. The surfaces of the uroliths, they are mostly smooth, but in case of silicate uroliths, the surface that is very much irregular, and usually it is jag shaped, and it is more painful and it is more problematic if the animal that is holding the silicate type of the uroliths. So silicate uroliths, they are more common in male dogs, particularly German Shepherd breeds of the dog and English sheepdogs, and it is because of the increased risks for associated with the formation of the silica containing urinary calculi. Similarly, the cystine uroliths, they occur because of inherited disorder of the renal tubular transport, and cystine stones usually occur in the acidic urine. So if we diagnose this problem clinically, a dog which is presented uh, with the problem of the uroliths, this problem is more common in female as compared to male dogs because of the urinary tract infection is more common. So that's why female dogs, they can hold high level of the stromal calculi as compared to the. Similarly, the chances of the urinary obstruction due to uroliths, it is more common in male dogs because of the long tract of the urethra and because of the narrow lumen of the urethra. So the males, they have more chances of the urinary flow obstruction due to calculi as compared to the female dogs. So uroliths, they are not associated with the age of the dog, but anyhow, the case is reported. The animal, they are having the most more animal, this condition is more frequently observed in those animals which are in the middle age. And calculi in dogs which are 1 year of the age are strovoid. So strovoid calculi, they have been observed in animals and dogs which are around about 1 year of the age. And calcium oxalate calculi, they are more common in male dogs, and strovoid calculi, they are more common in female dogs. So coming to the medical management, so there are certain procedures which can be used to remove the urinary calculi, either which are present in the bladder or which are present in the urethra. So different types of the exercises they can be, or method they can be used just to propel the calculi, either they are lying in the bladder, urinary bladder, or in the urethra. And particularly in those cases of the urinary calculi where the size that is lesser and it is smaller, it can easily pass out through the urethra. So in case of female dogs, if you observe the urethra that contain the urethral calculi or uroliths. So uh, these uroliths can be passed out or can propel to pass out by massaging the urethra, by inserting the finger through the rectum on the urethra, and these calculi, with the help of the massage from the finger, they can be streamed out or they can be squeezed out into the vagina. Similarly, other technique which is used for the removal of the for the propulsion of the urinary calculi back into the urinary bladder, so that is called retrohydropropulsion. So in this case, when the size of the urinary calculi that is more bigger and it is not able to pass through the urethra, so it is tried to be propelled back into the urinary bladder so that there should be a temporary relief into the normal urinary flow. So uh, for this purpose, the a catheter is passed at the distal aspect of the uroliths, and the proximal aspect of the urinary calculi or proximal aspect of the urethra, uh, that is uh, hold it with pressure. So water containing the lubricant that is passed through the catheter, and this stream of the water, it will generate the pressure at the level of the urinary at the level of the urethral calculi, and when a huge pressure is produced and the urethra is dilated, the finger pressure that is relieved and it will propel the urinary calculi back into the urinary bladder. So the animal that can be relieved with this. So this technique is called retrohydropropulsion, when with the help of the stream of the water, the urethral calculi that is pushed back into the urinary bladder from the urethra. Another technique that is used, that is called widening urohydropropulsion. So this technique is used for the removal of the small sized calculi which are present in the urinary bladder. So for this purpose, The urinary bladder that is hugely filled with the water with normal saline solution, and ultimately after this filling of the urinary bladder, the animal that is placed in or held in upright position for several minutes. So this position that will cause the movement of the urinary bladder to be gathered at the neck of the bladder at the area of the trigone of the bladder. So when after that the urinary bladder that is forcefully expressed, and this forceful expression of the urinary bladder, it will push the bladder calculi into the urethra, and sometimes these calculi they can be released or they can be pushed out. So this technique that is called urohydropropulsion, in which the bladder that is filled with water and ultimately the forceful expression of the bladder, it will cause propulsion and removal of the calculi outside the body or outside the urethra. So diagnostic imaging, that is a very authenticated tool which is used to pinpoint the size of the urinary calculator and pinpoint the location or position of the uroliths which are present or which are involving the different parts of the urinary system. So for this purpose, radiography and ultrasonography both are the very good or best choices which are used for the diagnosis of the urethral calculi. So among the urethral calculi, the calcium containing uroliths, they show radio opaque nature and as compared to other calculi like cystine and urates uroliths, which shows the least radio opaqueness. Similarly, the strow-white calculi, they also show the radio opaque, present the radio opaque picture, and they can be also be observed by using the survey radiography. So the size and the number of the stones, they can be diagnosed by using this technique of diagnostic imaging, or by using the radiography and ultrasonography of the animal which is suffering from urolithiasis. So this picture that is showing the retrohydropulsion, in which you can see in the picture the calculi that is lying lodging at the uh, that is lying at the urethra, and the size of the calculi is bigger, which cannot be propelled back or which can be passed out through the whole length of the urethra. So the catheter is passed at the distal aspect, and the water is passed, and ultimately it will cause the dilation of the urethra. And when the digital pressure is removed, so this pressure of the stream of the water, it will propel the calculi back into the urinary bladder.